Good morning. Are you Paul Jackson?
Yes, ma'am.
And this is cause number 26 DCCR 0112. Mr. Jackson was previously in court, entered a plea of guilty to aggravated robbery. There was no agreement in this case. I've received the pre-sentence report. Have you both had an opportunity to review that report?
We have, Your Honor. State has, Judge.
Are there any additions or corrections?
Not from the defense. Not from the state, Judge.
All right, Mr. Rojas, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. I realize, Judge, we've got a problem with guns in this county, and more specifically in the city. I don't know that anything we do here today is going to solve that problem. Certainly there are things you can do to deter other people watching this and see what happens to young people with guns. But I think there are some people who are not going to learn their lesson until they go to prison and spend a certain amount of time there. There are some people who are going to go to prison and never going to learn that lesson. They'll just spend their life in a revolving door, coming into court, prison, in court, back to prison. And there are those that, for whatever reason, the circumstances they find themselves in their life, they make bad decisions, make mistakes, and are deserving of a second chance. He was raised by his mother and his grandmother. He lost his mother, I think he was 15 when she passed away. His life went into a downward spiral from there. Just,
Your Honor, you know where I stand on these kind of cases, so I won't belabor that. But what I will do is point out what I consider to be aggravating factors in this case, Judge. And despite Mr. Rojas's argument as to what mitigation there is in this case, I believe the aggravating circumstances outweigh any mitigating circumstances. And what I'm getting at is the fact that this defendant robbed at gunpoint with another co-defendant who was also brandishing a firearm, a 16-year-old, took his
Hold on. This case just got darker. A teenager robbed at gunpoint in front of a 5-year-old child? That's the kind of detail that changes the entire energy of Courtroom. At this moment,
iPhone in front of that 16-year-old's 5-year-old niece, Judge.
Trauma, fear,
Can you imagine the trauma to that 5-year-old to watch her 16-year-old uncle get robbed at gunpoint, Judge? And with regard to the firearm that this defendant used, it was a P80, Your Honor, for the courts, in case you're not familiar with that, polymer 80 firearm that comes in a firearm kit that is partially complete. Doesn't take much to make it a functioning firearm. The thing about that is the ATF calls those guns ghost guns because they have no serial number. I submit to the court, what does a defendant, in this case, at the time, a 17-year-old defendant need with a firearm that does not have a serial number, Judge? So for those reasons, I say that any mitigating circumstances are outweighed by those aggravating circumstances that I just referenced. And I'd ask the court to sentence this defendant in accordance with your sentences in other similarly situated cases, Judge. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Coleman. Mr. Jackson, these cases are hard for me, and I know Mr. Rojas has told you what's been going on and what's been going on in this court, and I'm sure you're aware of all of that. I find your case a little bit different than some, but not the guns are the biggest concern for me and for everyone, and the using them in a way like it's no big deal and everybody having them at 15, 16, 14, whatever. I appreciate the fact also, though, that you've never been in trouble. As a juvenile, you've never been in our system. You figured out real quick that you need to follow the rules in jail, because I'm sure word got out there people are talking about the fact that is something that really affects me and what I do. And so I appreciate the fact that you've gotten your act together out there. And I'm talking because I don't know what I'm going to do with you right now, because I don't disagree with either attorney here today.
You can actually hear the judge struggling with this decision in real time. One side says prison. The other says second chance. And honestly, this is what makes these hearings
And that puts me
so
in a position
intense.
where I've got
One
my
decision
job
could
is
completely
two
change a young
things. It's
man's
one
future
to,
forever.
well, more than that, really. One is to protect our community. Another is to punish. Another is to rehabilitate. It's something where I have to potentially take chances that makes me sometimes uncomfortable. It looks like that before your mom passed away, you were doing really well in school, playing basketball, right? And that's a hard thing to go through, especially at your age. But you can't let something like that get you where you are now, right? What would she want you to be doing? Not this, right? So does grandmother live in the same neighborhood where all this took place?
Stay with my grandma.
You live with your grandmother, but does she live in that same neighborhood? Is that where you were living when this happened?
Not literally by the neighborhood. Some like
How far away from those apartments do you live?
2 blocks.
Do you have anything you want to tell me?
Apologize to the victim and the victim family for putting them in this situation.
All right, here's what I'm going to do, Mr. Jackson, and I hope that you don't make me regret this. Because here's what's going to happen.
Wow, nobody expected that. Instead of sending him away for potentially decades, the judge rolls the dice on probation. But make no mistake, this
I'm
isn't
going to give you a
freedom. This
probation.
is a
There's going to
final
be
warning.
all
One
kinds of
wrong move
conditions
after
on this
and
probation.
the courtroom doors could
And
slam
because there was
shut
no
wide.
agreement, the type of probation that I'm going to give you means that if you violate it, I'm going to have the entire punishment range, which is between 5 years and up to the rest of your life. You understand that punishment range?
Yes, ma'am.
I can tell you this, today, if I had sent you to prison, probably would have been in the 15, 20-year range. If you're back in here after I give you this opportunity, it's not going to be that.
Yes, ma'am.
I can't tell you what it'll be. I don't know. It'll depend on what all's going on. But if you go out there and make me look like a fool for giving you an opportunity, it's not going to go well. You understand that?
Yes.
I want you to succeed. You've got family here. They want you to succeed. So what I'm going to do is find that you entered your plea of guilty freely and voluntarily. Find sufficient evidence to find you guilty. However, I'm going to defer all proceedings. You will be on probation, on a deferred probation for 10 years.
Yes.
I'm going to order a $500 fine. I'm also going to order that you serve 3 months upfront time. And so after that 3 months in our county jail, you will then be ordered to enter and successfully complete the cognitive track of the ISF program. And let me tell you what that program's for. It is to help you make better decisions. You need to pay attention there. You're still young and your life is going to be very different. You're not going to be able to do everything that your buddies are doing. You're going to have to follow these rules, because if you don't follow the rules, you're going to go to prison. They may or may not. So you're starting off your early adulthood very different, and you either make a conscious decision to change and grow up and be mature about it, or you end up in prison. It's that simple, right? Once you get out of ISF, you'll live with grandmother. I'm going to order that you are ordered to live with her at her house until I order otherwise. So you get a job, you want to get your own place, you want to go live somewhere else, you don't get to do that without my permission. So you don't get to go hang out other places. You're home every single night. You will have a curfew. If you're not there and you're caught not home when you're supposed to be, you're right back in here and you could go to prison. So I'll do what I can to put the rules there. It's up to you to follow them. Make sense?
Yes.
Obviously, a condition of your probation is that you are not allowed to have any firearm at all. You cannot have firearms at your disposal. So if there are firearms at grandmother's house, they either have to be under lock and key or removed from that house. I can assure you, if you get in trouble with a gun again, it's really not going to be good. Okay. This is your chance. I hope you take it and this changes your life, because this type of probation that I just gave you means you do not have a felony conviction on your record. So if you have a felony conviction, it changes your life really bad in a lot of ways. You can't get certain jobs, you can't go to certain schools, you can't live certain places, even apartments. Sometimes they don't let convicted felons live there. So you don't have a felony conviction right now. But if you violate, you're back in and you do. So you kind of have a clean slate. It's up to you to keep it that way. Okay. I'm handing you the trial court certification that shows this was an agreement, or there was no agreement. Actually, you do have some rights to appeal. You can talk to Mr. Rojas about that.
Judge, I would ask that the court consider making a condition of its probation, no contact with the co-defendants.
Yes,
And I was looking for the names of those co-defendants. I can't find this.
it might be in here. So, Mr. Jackson, you are to have absolutely no contact, no communication whatsoever with Dale McDonald, okay? And also, obviously, no contact, no communication with the victims in the offense. You're not to go near that street or their house. So if that's the way you normally get in and out of the neighborhood, you've got to find another way to go. You cannot be anywhere near that area. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Judge.